please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call this meeting to order at 6 o'clock. Can I get a roll call, please?
Michael Cashman,
Present.
Thomas Wood,
I'm here.
Barbara Hebert,
Here.
Charles Costick,
Here.
Dana Isabella,
Here.
James Coffey,
Here.
and I'm present.
All right. We'll advance to Resolution 87, accept the minutes of the previous meeting.
Resolved that the minutes of February 16th of 2023 and February 23rd of 2023 be accepted and the reading of the minutes be dispensed with.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a motion? I couldn't call
That was
that.
close.
So move.
Costick. Is there a second?
Second.
Isabella. Any discussion? Seeing none. All's in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Resolution carries. Is there anyone seeking to provide public comment this evening? There is a public hearing, but this is for more generic comment. Is there anyone seeking to provide public comment? All right, we will advance to the next resolution. Resolution 88, the abstract.
Resolved that the abstract of audited claims number 4B-23 for $256,065.21. Abstracts 4B-23 prepays for the amount of $259,725.17 be received as reviewed by the audit committee, and the supervisor is hereby authorized to pay said abstracts.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Hebert. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Resolution does carry. We'll advance to Resolution 89. Receive the draft zoning amendments type, the seeker action, notice public hearing, refer plan to involved agencies.
Whereas the town of Plattsburgh zoning ordinance provides that amendments to ordinances may be initiated by the town board upon its own motion or through the appointment of a committee for the purpose of amending said ordinance. And whereas a committee duly authorized by the town board comprised of one town councilor, one planning board member, one zoning board of appeals member, and town staff, herein referred to as the committee, was established in July of 2022 to make recommendations for changes, additions, or modifications to the town zoning ordinance and map. Whereas after review and discussion of the committee's draft amendments, the town board desires to distribute the May 2023 draft amendments to the town zoning ordinance and map to the appropriate agencies in accordance with Article 13, Section 13.3 and 13.4 of the town zoning ordinance, and Section 264 and 265 of New York town law as follows: 1 town planning board and town zoning board, and 2 Clinton County planning board, and 3 adjacent municipalities, and 4 regional state park commission. And whereas New York state law and the town zoning ordinance requires that a public hearing on proposed amendments be held to consider the advisability of amendment to the town of Plattsburgh zoning ordinance. And whereas Part 617 of the Environmental Conservation Law, State Environmental Quality Review Act, Section 8-0113, SECRA herein, provides for the review of any action to determine the effect of said action on the environment, along with any related administrative procedures for the implementation, authorization, or approval of said action. And whereas Part 617.12 B through 2 of SECRA provides that the adoption of changes in the allowable uses within any zoning district affecting 25 or more acres mandates the proposed amendments to said zoning ordinance. And said zone map amendment be defined as type 1 action, which requires specific acts by the town of Plattsburgh prior to the adoption or rejection of said proposed amendments. And whereas determination of the effect of said action on the environment will be necessary to determine whether a draft environmental impact statement is required. And whereas the town of Plattsburgh Town Board is identified as an involved agency in accordance with SECRA for the purpose of assessing the effect of this zoning ordinance amendment on the environment and whether or not said effect is significant enough to warrant the preparation of a draft environmental impact statement. And whereas a coordinated review will be conducted and the Town of Plattsburgh Planning Board shall request to be designated lead agency. And whereas the Town Board of the Town of Plattsburgh, as the project sponsor, is required to review and use the EAF to determine the significance of said proposed amendments. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board does hereby determine that the proposed zoning changes, maps, amendments, highway specifications, and stormwater specifications are a type 1 action, and a coordinated review under SECRA will be conducted. And be it further resolved that the Town of Plattsburgh Town Board shall notify all involved or interested agencies of the proposed zoning ordinance and map amendments, and request to be designated lead agency. And be it further resolved that the Town of Plattsburgh Town Board does hereby receive and place on file the draft May 2023 amended zoning ordinance, map, SECRA Part 1, long form EAF, and supplemental analysis report. And it is further resolved that the Town Board shall hold a public hearing in relation to the proposed amendment to the zoning ordinance at the Town Hall at 151 Banker Road, Plattsburgh, New York, on May 4th at 2023 at 6:05 p.m. Eastern Time. And be it further resolved that pursuant to the provisions of Article 13, Section 13.3 and 13.4 of the Town Zoning Ordinance, the Town Clerk shall cause notice of the time and place of said public hearing to be published in the Press Republican, a paper of general circulation in the Town of Plattsburgh, at least on or before May 4th. It has to be 5 days before May 4th, with such notice also being posted in the Town Hall and given necessary adjoining municipalities and the Clinton County Planning Board and such other agencies and parties as required by law. And be it further resolved that notice of the said public hearing and a copy of the draft May 2023 amendments to the zoning ordinance shall also be posted on the town's website. And be it further resolved that the proposed zoning amendments, maps, amendments, and design specifications shall be entered into the meeting minutes as per New York Town Law, Section 265. And be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution and attachments be given to the Town Clerk, Planning and Zoning Departments, the adjacent municipalities, and Clinton County Planning Board, and other interested agencies.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Hebert, is there a second?
Second.
Costick, is there any discussion? Seeing none, can I
We're just receiving it,
no, this is a
right?
receiving,
And setting up.
this is a receiving and setting of the public hearing, correct?
The only thing I would say is in paragraph 3, is that supposed to be and map?
Third whereas, Dina?
That third whereas, draft amendments to the town zoning ordinance and map to the appropriate, not and map. That's the only thing I would say.
Okay,
I'm playing calm.
yeah,
It's okay.
Yeah, like somebody, you know, I'm just tired out from all my hiking.
all right. Can I get a roll call, please?
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Barbara Hebert,
Yes.
Charles Costick,
Yes.
Dana Isabella,
Yes,
Michael Cashman.
Yes, resolution does carry and set forth the public hearing. Allow me to go backwards for a moment. The Town of Plattsburgh Town Board semi-monthly meeting, public hearing, April 20th, 2023. The meeting was called to order at 6 p.m. by the presiding officer at Town Hall on the Baker Road. Further notice is hereby given that the Town Board of the Town of Plattsburgh will meet to hold public hearings hereon at the Town Hall located on the Baker Road in the Town of Plattsburgh, Clinton County, New York, on Thursday, April 20th at 6:05 p.m. prevailing time in relationship to proposed local law number 1 of 2023, a local law imposing a 12-month moratorium of applications for Tier 3 solar energy facilities and battery-based energy storage systems. This evening, we will be accepting written comments into the record for the hearing, and we will also open the floor for public comment. Is there a motion to open this public
So
hearing?
moved.
Mr. Wood, is there a second?
Second.
Costick, is there any discussion? Seeing none, can I get a roll call, please?
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Barbara Hebert,
Yes.
Charles Costick,
Yes.
Dana Isabella,
yes,
Michael Cashman.
Yes, we will officially open this public hearing at 6:08 p.m. Let me go back. Is there anybody seeking to provide either written comment or seeking to provide public comment from the floor on the 12-month moratorium on applications as it relates to Tier 3 solar energy facilities and battery-based energy storage systems?
Yes.
Come on up.
name's Tim Palmer, a resident of the town who's been very deeply concerned about the effects of burning fossil fuels for many years. Our family's strong support for solar energy is reflected in the installation of a 7.7 kilowatt rooftop solar array in 2016. We are pleased to live in a state that produces some of the greenest electricity in the country. Electricity that gets a little cleaner with each additional source of solar electricity contributing to the grid. Development of solar sources has been accelerating rapidly, thanks in part to state support for both business and private installations. Recent solar development is also fostered by provisions of the Federal Inflation Reduction Act that support initiatives addressing the climate crisis. In 2022, solar was by far the largest source of new electrical generation capacity in the U.S., primarily because photovoltaic energy sources have recently become the cheapest form of energy production that can be installed. So, given that introduction, you might correctly guess that our family's response to having town government move to curtail development of this important renewable resource is disappointment. After all, there certainly appears to be an abundance of open space here where solar projects, including each producing a few megawatts, could be sited. So, why the heck is the town board considering passing an ordinance that will prevent further development of this economical, crucial clean energy infrastructure for 1 year? Well, my own disappointment in this turn of events is tempered by serving as chair of the town of Plattsburgh Planning Board. The planning department staff and planning board members are keenly aware of the unprecedented and growing number of requests the town is receiving for installation of Tier 3 solar energy facilities. In fact, 3 were granted just this month, and it seems like there may be this many or more for us to consider in June. The town board anticipated growth in solar by passing our own solar energy law more than a year ago. However, in addition to the very sudden acceleration in development of this important infrastructure, there are some aspects that now need to be reconsidered. For example, these projects, which have no need for water or sewer service, are appearing in parts of the town where these services are already available. Losing 10 or 20 acres to solar farms in places originally planned for residential or commercial development is not a good return on a considerable investment in underground infrastructure. An investment made by the town, especially by the residents of those areas. It sure looks like adjustments to town zoning ordinances need to be made, but determining how best to do this, soliciting public input about proposed changes, and then having the town board enact a proposed modification to existing laws takes time. Maybe the process won't take a whole year. With that in mind, I encourage the town board to consider shortening or including a provision that allows for terminating the moratorium, if possible, before the year is up. Also, this ordinance would not affect smaller projects, including the kind of rooftop and ground-mounted grid-tied systems that serve residences and businesses. Our family's electricity has come from such a system for going on 7 years now, and I believe it will have paid for itself this year, if it hasn't already. The same sort of federal and state incentives that supercharge the growing crop of solar farms are also available to encourage investment in individually owned systems as well. With this in mind, I personally recommend property owners look into helping to clean up our electricity supply while meeting their own energy needs by tapping into the sun. The planning board may also take a more active role by encouraging inclusion of solar energy in the plans for individual projects. Perhaps this could take up some of the slack in the local solar development that will result from the proposed moratorium. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I just want to thank you, Tim, for serving as a member of our planning board and serving in your capacity as chairman. That's a volunteer position that often gets a lot of strife and not a lot of appreciation. So thank you for doing your civic duty and supporting the goals and objectives of local government.
I greatly appreciate your appreciation.
So, I appreciate your appreciation.
Here we go.
And also, I greatly appreciate the planning staff. I there's just no way that we could do an effective job in this kind of developing environment without them. They are such an incredible resource.
You know, typically, it's not an exchange. The only thing that I would touch upon, just for further clarity, is that this moratorium is not only just for solar energy facilities, it's also for battery-based energy
Right.
storage, which is kind of that next wave of the wild, wild west that we're seeing, so.
Right, and we have not laid out any.
Yeah, so, and, you know, a moratorium can end before the 12 months, so if we can get it done earlier, we will end the moratorium
Right.
sooner than that.
Yeah, there's a huge wave that's being produced by all this incentive, and it's really unfortunate not to be able to ride it.
At this point, I would ask, is there anyone else seeking to speak from the floor and provide public comment?
You can't.
I would ask the clerk, has anyone contacted the town of Plattsburgh to provide any written comment? If so, could you share them?
Yes, we have received written comment from, one moment please, let me find it in my, oh, here it is, hiding. The written comment that we have received is from Deborah Blake.
I would ask that those comments be added to the record. Is there anyone else that provided written comment?
No,
Okay.
not that I received.
All right. Is there anyone else seeking to provide comment from the floor? Okay. We will hold on this public hearing for a little while, and we will advance with the rest of the agenda, just to give people a little bit more time and allowance to attend if they were planning on that. Resolution 90, receiving and findings recommendations from the town planning board for Schluter zoning amendment petition 2023.
Whereas it is regularly scheduled meeting on March 16th of 2023, the town of Plattsburgh Town Board received a petition from Schluter System, who has entered a purchase agreement for the parcels listed here, located on Route 22 of Salmon River Road and Superior Drive, requesting an amendment of the existing zone classification of said parcels from residential R2 to industrial I. And whereas pursuant to Article, looks like 17, Section 17.3, all proposed amendments originating by petition or by motion shall be referred to the Town of Plattsburgh Planning Board for a report and recommendation thereon. Now therefore be it, and whereas on March 16th of 2023, the town board referred to said petition for a proposed amendment to the current town of Plattsburgh zoning map to the town of Plattsburgh Planning Board for a report and recommendation in accordance with Article 17, Section 17.3 of the town of Plattsburgh zoning ordinance. And whereas on April 18th of 2023, the planning board, after review and consideration of the map and draft report prepared by staff by planning board resolution 23 through 25, did find the same to accurately reflect the opinion of the planning board and accepted the recommendation as the final findings and recommendation of the planning board, and resolved to transmit the report, findings, and meeting minutes to the town board. And whereas the town board is now in receipt of the planning board report and resolution 23 through 25 adopted at a meeting held on April 18th of 2023, and recommending the town board consider the following. One, that the town board consider amending the town zoning map for tax map parcels as listed here, as shown on the petition, specifically changing proposed lots 2, 3, and 4 from R2 residential to I industrial, and lot 1 from the NC neighborhood commercial to I industrial, and as more clearly shown on the attached planning board map amendment recommendation. And the town board declined to amend the industrial district, increasing the maximum building height from 40 to 120 feet. 3, that the town board schedule a public hearing on the above zoning ordinance and zoning map amendments in accordance with zoning ordinance Article 17, Amendment Section 17.4A. And 4, that the town board refer the zoning map amendment petition to the Clinton County Planning Board in accordance with GML 239M and town zoning ordinance Article 17, Section 17.4B. And 5, that the town board comply with the provisions of Article 8 of the Environmental Conservation Law, Part 617, NYCRR Secra, prior to rendering its decision. 6, 6, that the town board analyze and consider all potential impacts from the conceptually proposed development and potential overall industrial development of the subject property, including but not limited to traffic, air pollution, lighting, storm water, natural resources, noise, visual impacts, etc. And whereas after review and discussion of the findings and recommendations reported to the planning board, the town board desires to distribute a proposed amendment of the town zoning ordinance to the appropriate agencies in accordance with Article 7, Section 17.3 and 17.4 of the town zoning ordinance, and Section 264 and 265 of New York town law. Now therefore be it resolved that after reviewing the discussion of the town planning board's findings and recommendations report of the planning board dated April 18th of 2023, the town board does hereby receive and place on file said findings and recommendations report of the planning board. And be it further resolved that the town board does hereby accept the findings and recommendations report of the planning board, and be it further resolved that the town board shall hereby proceed to: 1, schedule a public hearing on the above zoning ordinance amendment in accordance with zoning ordinance Article 17 Amendment, Section 17.4A, and refer the zoning map amendment petition to the Clinton County Planning Board in accordance with GML 239M and Town Zoning Ordinance Article 17, Section 17.4B. And 3, comply with the provisions of Article 8 of the Environmental Conservation Law, Part 617, NYCRR Secra, prior to rendering its decision. And be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be provided to the zoning and planning departments.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Hebert, is there a second?
Second?
Isabella, any discussion? Seeing none.
This is just accepting,
This is just accepting the report.
whether we're setting a public hearing.
We have not set the public hearing yet.
Okay.
It is just accepting the report. Yep. Can I get a roll call, please?
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Barbara Hebert,
Yes.
Charles Costick,
Yes.
Dana Isabella,
Yes.
Michael Cashman.
Yes, resolution does carry. Thank you. Resolution 91, Town of Plattsburgh, Department of Hannah, Falls for kayaking.
I make a motion to waive the reading of the resolution and proceed straight to vote.
Is there a second?
Second.
Costick, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Resolution carries. Resolution 92, firewall upgrades.
It has been identified that the town's existing firewall will become obsolete and outdated. And whereas in order to maintain a high level of IT security, therefore be it resolved that the town board does hereby grant permission to upgrade the town's existing firewall with StorageTech 543 Queensbury Avenue, Suite 5, in Queensbury, New York, not to exceed $6,500, and it's further resolved that payment be made payable from the 2022 general fund budget account as stated here, computer services, and that a copy of this resolution be given to the finance manager.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Costick, is there a second?
Second?
Isabella, any discussion? Seeing none.
That's the total quote for everything, right?
Correct. Make your roll call, please.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Barbara Hebert,
Yes.
Charles Costick,
Yes.
Dina Isabella,
Yes.
Michael Cashman.
Yes, resolution carries. Thank you. Resolution 93. Request to purchase rubber plow edge blades for highway department.
Whereas it is a necessity to maintain equipment for the continued maintenance and improvements of town highways within the town of Plattsburgh, and whereas procedures for purchase of commodities, equipment, or goods and contract values requires the town to solicit price quotes for amounts in excess of $5,000. And whereas Tim Dewberry, Highway Superintendent, has solicited prices and is requesting permission to place an order for rubber plow edge blades. And whereas the best quote option, which includes freight fees, is Northern Supply, at a total of $9,375 for the 25 rubber plow edge blades. Therefore be it resolved that the town board approves the purchases as recommended, and that the highway superintendent is hereby authorized to make said purchase. And be it further resolved that payment be made payable from the 2023 highway budget repairs account as stated here, and that a copy of this resolution be given to the finance manager and the highway superintendent.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Wood, is there a second?
Second?
Isabella, any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Resolution carries. Resolution 94, request to purchase a plate compactor for highway department.
Whereas the Town of Plattsburgh Highway Department Superintendent Tim Dupree has submitted a request to purchase a new plate compactor, and whereas Mr. Dupree has received multiple quotes with the best price coming from Northern Tool and Equipment, which would be $6,246.30, including shipping, therefore be it resolved that the town board does hereby authorize Mr. Dupree to order said piece of equipment, and the payment for said purchase will be made payable from the 2023 highway budget, equipment and capital outlay account as stated here. And be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be given to Mr. Dupree and a copy be given to the finance manager.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Isabella, is there a second?
Second.
Costick, any discussion? Seeing none.
Just that the current one is 20 years old.
Right,
So
yeah.
their recommendation is to trade them in or get another one every 10 years.
And
Because you get a good resale value.
there's a case of using the internationals auction, I guess that unit will be put on auction. Which
And the May.
Yes.
All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Resolution carries, thank you. Resolution 95, publish a request for sealed bids intended for flooring installation services for town hall building.
Could we waive the reading or direct the vote?
Is there a second?
Second.
For discussion, just, the reason that this is being waived is this is truly a reposting for sealed bids for carpet in town hall. So if you know folks, encourage them to reach out to Katie and,
Nobody showed up the first time.
Yeah.
and if anyone's been in town hall, you see very quickly why the carpets need to be replaced. So we work things into the ground. All right. Can I get a roll
Roll
call?
call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Barbara Hebert,
Yes.
Charles Costick,
Yes.
Dana Isabella,
Yes.
Michael Cashman.
Yes, resolution carries, thank you. Resolution 96, letter of retirement from Mr. Tim Dubray, Highway Superintendent.
Whereas Mr. Tim Dupree has submitted a letter of retirement from his position of Highway Superintendent, effective April 27th of 2023. Therefore be resolved that the Town of Plattsburgh Town Board, with appreciation for his previous years of service as Highway Superintendent, accept Mr. Dupree's letter of retirement, and be further resolved that the Town Board does hereby wish to thank him for his years of service and wish Mr. Dupree well with his future endeavors. And it's further resolved that a copy of this resolution be given to the finance manager and a copy placed in Mr. Dupree's personal file.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Costick, Isabella. And I would just start by saying thank you to Tim for his service, in this position. And previous to being a highway superintendent, he was a member of our highway team previous to that. Is there anyone else seeking to provide comment?
I'd just like to say that in my years here at the town, when he has been the superintendent, he has always tried to get the best value for any particular item that's needed. He evaluates them, and he usually is able to sell old ones to take a good portion of it, what the cost of the new one is. So I think he handled the transition of different equipment very well throughout the years.
Yeah, I would just add that along that line, he's really the one that got us involved with Auctions
Yes.
International. And it's a lot of this equipment that sat around for years and years and years has left with some value. And I think at last tally was somewhere around $400,000 worth of obsolete equipment
Exactly.
that have been sold at auction, vehicles, equipment, etc. So that's money that comes straight back into the town that was just sitting around rusting away, basically.
Yeah, with his assistance, we've been able to at least schedule that twice a year now,
Twice a
so
year.
fall and spring.
Yep.
And the highway department, especially during the pandemic, there were definitely some challenges and pencil sharpening that had to be done in that department, so I would thank Tim for that portion of his leadership.
And I'm looking forward to his salt pilot program
Ooh, that's right.
coming to fruition in the years ahead of us. I'm really looking forward to that piece, especially for the environment.
So I would just remind people that Tim will be with us until April 27th. So if you're out and about, feel free and recommended to thank him for his service. Can I get a roll call vote, please?
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Barbara Hebert,
Yes.
Charles Costick,
Yes.
Dana Isabella,
Yes.
and Michael Cashman.
Yes, resolution carries. Resolution 97, professional service contract addendum for water and wastewater GIS layer updates.
Whereas the town of Plattsburgh continues to implement the water and wastewater capital plan approved by resolution 17-037 and professional services agreement by resolution 17-105. And whereas the town is in need of updating the water and wastewater GIS layer due to recent infrastructure and economic development projects, therefore be it resolved that the town board does hereby authorize the supervisor to execute an addendum to the professional services agreement. And further resolved that the supervisor is hereby authorized to sign the professional services contract addendum with LaVerge Group to be compensated on time and materials basis per rate schedule and scope of work. And it's further resolved that a copy of this resolution be given to the finance manager and the water and wastewater director.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Costick, is there a second?
Second.
Hebert, any discussion?
We did discuss this at length this morning with Scott at committee, so definitely needed to make sure that we can keep track of what we have and where it is more than anything.
Mhm.
So the one thing you'll find, there is a lot of municipalities that have personnel on staff that do this, so luckily we're able to, engage the verge and, at least get a good portion of it done.
Seeing nothing further, can I get a roll call?
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Barbara Hebert,
Yes.
Charles Costick,
Yes.
Dana Isabella,
Yes.
and Michael Cashman.
Yes, resolution does carry. We're going to go back to the public hearing. Tonight, the meeting was called at 6 p.m. by the presiding officer here at Town Hall. It was given the board of the town of Plattsburgh will meet to hold public hearing at the Town Hall located at the Bank Road at the town of Plattsburgh, in Clinton County, New York, on Thursday, April 20th, 2023. We called this public hearing to order at 6:08 p.m. prevailing time in relationship to proposed law number 1 of 2023, a local law imposing a 12-month moratorium on applications for Tier 3 solar energy facilities and battery-based energy storage systems. I would seek any last opportunities. Is there anyone seeking to provide written comment into the record or seeking to speak from the floor? Is there anyone seeking to provide written comment or speak from the floor? Is there anyone seeking to provide written comment or speak from the floor? Seeing none, I would seek a motion to close this public hearing. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Hebert, is there a second?
Second.
Costick, can I get a roll call, please?
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Barbara Hebert,
Yes.
Charles Costick,
Yes.
Dana Isabella,
Yes.
Michael Cashman.
Yes, we will officially close this public hearing at 6:32 p.m. We'll move on to Resolution 98. A resolution authorizing the adoption of the Town Board of the Town of Plattsburgh Local Law Number 1 of 2023, imposing a 12-month moratorium on applications for Tier 3 solar energy facilities and battery-based energy storage systems.
Whereas a resolution was duly adopted by the town board of the town of Plattsburgh for a public hearing to be held by said governing body on April 20th of 2023 at 6:05 p.m. at the town of Plattsburgh, located 151 Banker Road, Plattsburgh, New York, to hear all interested parties on proposed local law entitled Local Law Number 1 of 2023, imposing a 12-month moratorium of applications for Tier 3 solar energy facilities and battery-based energy storage systems. And whereas notice of said public hearing was duly advertised in the Press Republican, the official newspaper of said town, on April 11th, and whereas said public hearings was duly held on April 20th and 2023 at 6:05 at 151 Baker Road, New York, and all parties in attendance were permitted an opportunity to speak on behalf of or in opposition to said proposed local law or any part thereof. And whereas pursuant to Part 617 of the implementing regulations pertaining to Article 8 State Environmental Quality Review Act, (SECRA), it has been determined by the town board of the town of Plattsburgh that this is a type 2 action and no further review will be and could be processed by other applicable government agencies without further regard to secret. And whereas the town board of the town of Plattsburgh after due deliberation, finds it in the best interest of said town to adopt said local law. Therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Plattsburgh hereby adopts said local law number 1 of 2023 entitled Local Law Imposing a 12-month moratorium of applications for Tier 3 solar energy facilities and battery-based energy storage systems, a copy of which is attached hereto and made a part of this resolution. And be it further resolved that the town clerk be and she hereby is directed to enter said local law in the minutes of this meeting and the local law book of the town of Plattsburgh, and to give due notice to the adoption of said local law to the Secretary of State of New York.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Isabella? Is there a second?
Seconded.
Hebert, any discussion?
I think that it would be a good idea to put it, change the wording to up to 12 months. And that we try to get this done as soon as possible.
My only recommendation, Tom, is all moratoriums can be up to 12 months anyways. So,
Well, yeah, but we're saying it's 12 months and you're proposing a 12-month all the way through.
But I have to agree with Michael, I think they're intended for up to 12 months.
Jim?
I think that, I don't think it's a problem one way or another, and the reason being, if we want to stop this tomorrow, we can. So now, I don't think it's a kind of a semantics issue, but I don't think it's a real issue, so. I know what you're saying, and I don't think it's a problem, that if we're not stuck with the 12 months, if we decide we get it done earlier, or whatever we want to do, we can terminate it at our will.
the other part to it that I would say, Tom, is this moratorium is not just about solar. And the component of this that I'm actually most concerned about, us getting our arms wrapped around to really understand it, is the battery storage. And I don't want to have kind of this fluid time of like, well, maybe we'll get it done in 11 months, or maybe we'll get it done in 6 months. We have the posting of, we know it's 12, no more than 12. We'll work diligently to get it done using the team and staff of our planning department. But the battery storage is a real concern. And I will just point one specific group. We have volunteer firefighters that have expressed over and over and over again, would you not echo this comment? About putting out these fires. And there was one county during Association of Towns, and I don't know if the project ever got off the ground, but they were looking at a 27-acre battery storage. 27 acres. So we really got to get our arms wrapped around this, and I agree with you, Tom. I want people to know right from the get-go. 12 months, we're going to work diligently towards it, and then if we are in a better position, then we'll.
So they can't be separated. In other words, the battery storage has to go with these tier 3.
There's a natural tethering that is occurring between these two elements. So, because what's happening is some companies are seeking solar, and then because they can't put enough onto the, and I'm not an expert in this area, but they can't put enough into the system, what they're looking for is to do a solar farm and then battery storage all in the same unit. So that's why the two of these things have been tethered together in this moratorium as
Is that
well.
because NICEAG doesn't have the capacity to handle it?
I'm not even gonna wax on about what
That's why we need to
could or
study it.
couldn't be, so.
We need to study it.
And that's why the moratorium, I think, has enough merits. I wanna thank Tim for coming forward as a member of the planning board. Debbie also echoed, and we all received that email earlier. There was nothing but positiveness. We certainly wanna do this as quickly as possible, but we don't wanna do it at the expense of getting our arms wrapped around this. And it also ties into our local solar law as well, so.
Your question is relevant and certainly, well-intentioned, but I think the subject matter expertise with Trevor and Jessica has helped me understand the connection and Michael's word of tethering with the tier 3
Perhaps I
solar.
haven't had as much experience with it.
Yeah,
Tom,
I haven't, I'm
Tom,
not.
I think everybody agrees with you, Tom.
Yeah.
I think the bottom line is, the quicker we get it done, the better it is. And the quicker we get this back on track, I think it's important that we go forward with it. The batteries are a huge consideration right now. And I can speak of that from the firefighter side, absolutely. And I think the other piece we have to be considerate of and cognizant of is the money that we've put into infrastructure in the town to make sure that, the properties around it are used in a way such that they're gonna use that infrastructure versus block that off from somebody else. So I think there's a lot of moving parts here, but the quicker we get it done, the better.
Yeah, and I appreciate where you're coming from, Tom, because I think it's simply verbiage in this case. I think we can all agree we wanna see it done as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
But I don't wanna set up a false narrative, though, that, it's an up to 12.
Right.
I think people really need to understand that this really could be a 12-month moratorium, because there's a lot of work here. So let's let people understand the weight of that, that we're not gonna try to just expedite, we're gonna do it in a very methodical way, that Trevor and Jess help, walk us
I
through.
don't think Trevor will let us do it otherwise.
No.
I could be wrong,
Well, I'd
but
like
I
to
don't
say,
think
just
so.
watching Trevor and Jess handle other
Yep.
moratoriums,
Yes,
Yeah,
they do
Yeah.
not sit back.
no.
no,
They will take action and they will move thoughtfully and timely on this. So I really support our planning department and how they approach this.
And they keep the liaison committee members
Yep.
apprised, such as Dana and I. And connected to that, I think it was mentioned earlier, we got the local solar energy law, and that has to have some surgical precision to deliver.
Yep.
May I ask a question?
No. Don't have discussion during this part.
Okay.
So,
Understood.
with nothing further, I would ask for a roll call vote.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Barbara Hebert,
Yes.
Charles Costick,
yes.
Dana Isabella,
Yes.
Michael Cashman.
Yes, resolution is carried. We'll move on to resolution 99, request to attend the 2023 New York Water Association Annual Technician Conference.
I make a motion that we waive the reading of this and go directly to a vote.
Isabella, is there a second?
Second?
Costick, is there any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Resolution carries. Resolution 100, temporary seasonal hire for recreation assistant in the rec department.
Whereas there is a planned need for a temporary position, recreation assistant, in the town of Plattsburgh Parks and Recreation Department, and Celeste, how do we say her last name? Lukowitz? Lukowitz?
Hot shots.
We'll work on that.
Yeah.
I'll introduce myself. $15 an hour be appointed to said person when all employment verification and eligibility provisions have been satisfied. Now therefore be resolved that the supervisor authorized to sign all necessary documents to hire seasonal temporary help in the Parks and Recreation Department. And a certified copy of this resolution be given to the finance manager, the youth director, pool insurance, and the Clinton County Civil Service Department personnel for their final approval. And finally, and a copy placed in her personnel file.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Costick, is there a second?
Second.
Wood, any discussion?
Congratulations, Celeste, and I would like to have included in the resolution the start and end date, which I believe we do have. Michael,
We
that
have,
is-
last year there was a discussion that sometimes the individual, I believe, let me see if this, for college,
Okay,
depending on finals and various things, had been pushed off. So it could start as early as the 15th and then potentially push out a little bit later.
Okay.
So
As long as I have
if
some-
you're amenable to that, there's a set amount in the budget that they
Yeah.
can't.
well, that's good. No, okay, yeah, I can appreciate that. Just wanted to talk about it.
All right, all those in favor?
I would just add too that there's some other positions too, more on the B and G side, but it does attach the parts that are open, so if anybody knows anybody that's interested. Sorry.
That's all right. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Resolution carries. I know of a reason to go into an executive session to discuss the work history of one individual. Is there a motion to enter executive session?
So moved.
Costick. And is there a second?
Seconded.
Hebert. Can I get a roll call, please?
Thomas Wood,
Yes?
Barbara Hebert,
Yes.
Charles Costick,
Yes.
Dana Isabella,
Yes.
Michael Cashman.
Yes. We will enter executive session at 6:44 PM. No action to be taken, and it will be very brief. So if you want to chat about anything, if you want, you're welcome to hang outside for
Yep, you
like
can just
5
wait right
minutes.
outside the doors. If you want to have your paper signed, head right on.
I can sign that for you.
He'll sign that for you briefly. Did you enjoy the meeting?
Thank you for coming.
We're on 16 on
Thanks for coming.
today.
Public hearing.
You got a busy night.
Quiet life.
Thanks for coming.
It is interesting.
It is.
Get involved.
Number 5 or?
Have a good night.
General,
Thank you, you too.
Kind of a general term section, and there's a whole bunch of different, you'll see it, it's a long
Okay.
list there.
Yeah, this is
Yeah, it's huge.